guys, Kyle and Brandon coming at you today talking plyo push-ups. We're going to show a couple different variations and a couple ways this might be good to incorporate into your training. Let's get right to the actual movement. So we can obviously do plyo push-ups just off the ground. That's going to be pretty self-explanatory, especially when you see Brandon going through the motion here. So we're going to go ahead and pop him up right on some 45 bumpers. Can tell he's done this movement a few times before. Pretty easy, pretty efficient. We won't spend a ton of time doing it. Add some more bumper plates. Looking good still. Pretty strong bencher, pretty strong and explosive for body weight movement. So we might move him into some boxes or even some benches here in our example. When you're ready, sir?
Do not start with this.
Yes, do not start trying here. Good, come on down and let's talk a couple faults. So if you guys have been to our Principles of Loaded Movements seminar, I get really excited when we talk about explosive movements like this. A lot of people talk lower body plyometrics. We talk bounding, jumping, any of our depth jumps, plyo box, tons of explosive movements for the lower body. Not a lot of people talk about it for the upper body. But the reason I highlight our Principles of Loaded Movement seminar is it's not just barbells we're talking about here. The mechanics are going to be really the same. We'll show a couple deviations through the spine and the shoulder girdle here in a second. Really what we're saying is, once again, there's not a perfect posture. We just want you to be in good range. If this is stacked and organized as he moves through, he's going to be in a pretty good position to push explosively, similar to a bench press or an overhead press. If he can maintain and organize his shoulder girdle in the receiving position and the explosive pushing position, it's probably going to be pretty good for him stabilizing athletically in wrestling, fighting, throwing, boxing, even in powerlifting while we're pressing. So let's show a couple of these faults that we don't want to see. First, you'll see Brandon's cheating here because his hips are really far up. So he's cheating range of motion and completely changing the angle. Rest for a second here, and now I'll have you add some momentum with your upper body and possibly your head. So keep in mind when we're doing any explosive work, we should just drop him down if this was the case. What we would really like to do is move again through a good organized position, great fundamentals and range of motion, and push from there. Anytime we have to create momentum from a body part that wasn't intended or is not the major muscle group moving this motion, it's probably just too hard or too heavy. Same thing would be true in a box jump. I don't necessarily want to flail my whole body if I'm trying to get my legs stronger. It's just not going to carry over. What was the other two, or what other one you had?
One more. It's really common is individuals will get up here and then do the step down.
Right.
We got to keep in mind that the deceleration is a big part of the benefit. So, definitely don't skip out on it.
And let's actually show one more. Let's show a fault in the shoulder girdle. So a lot of times people, when they push explosively, they'll push as far away as they can. I don't want to fight, wrestle, bench press like this. I probably don't want to do my push-ups that way. Same thing in the receiving position. If I push off good and I go to land, I don't want that shoulder to come up, rotated into an anterior dump. So it'd be easy on your shoulders here, but try to demonstrate that for us. Yeah, you can see that whole shoulder girdle just twisted. It's not going to be good for his shoulder long term. And one of the other exciting things we talk about here is the ability to build up some tendon, ligament, and joint health through these movements. Obviously, we're probably doing a fair amount of strength training in the gym with barbells. If I push a barbell, say 135 pounds, as explosive as I can, it's probably going to start to move. I might even come off the bench. So my mechanics are going to change. And if I am a competitive athlete with a barbell, if I bench press, that's going to now change my mechanics in the bench press, possibly leading to bad habits. So with any plyo push-up work, throwing, things like that, we can really train 100% explosive, and we're not worried about changing mechanics of another lift. This gives us a chance to start to build up some tendon, ligament, and possibly even some joint structure, adding a little bit of volume, because we can take a little bit more body weight volume than you can extra reps at 315 or 405 on the bench. Do you have anything else to add to that, Brandon?
Like he said, having tensile strength and ligaments and tendons in your arms is just as important as the lower body, but at the same time, you don't get that benefit if you don't do this correctly. And a lot of individuals I've given this to, especially the fighter or wrestler crowd for obvious reasons, they go until they can't go anymore and then some. Keep in mind, it's a great exercise, but don't go until you lose body composition. A lot of individuals will, like I said, demonstrate all these faults for the last 5 reps, and then if anything, get themselves injured. So yeah, definitely look out for that.
Thanks, guys.